knowledge to creating real impact in the global energy industry. So as you can see, our session is titled From Student to Energy Leader, Skills Young Engineers Need for Global Impact. And just in case, before we start, I would like to share some few brief guidelines. First of all, I kindly ask you to brief your microphone muted during the presentation. You can ask your questions in our chat anytime. I will be here, so I will be able to check your question. And in the end, we're going to have a Q&A. And now our speaker, dear Mr. Promise. He's an energy transition professional from Nigeria with experience in program management, fundraising, strategic partnerships, and international energy initiatives, and also the founder and former president of the African Youth in Energy Network. And personally, I am following Promise for already a long time, and I'm really impressed by the impact which he's doing in his life every time. And I'm really impressed by the LinkedIn page that Dear Promise has and amount of projects and posts there. So Promise, the floor is yours. I will not take more time from your wonderful presentation. Yeah, I will right now stop my screen sharing, so you will be able to share your presentation.
Also, can you confirm you can hear me?
Right now it's better. Yes.
Great. Thank you so much, Alina. Can you hear me?
Yes, everything is okay. We can hear you.
Awesome. Yeah, it's really a great pleasure and an honor to be here today to share my journey, how I've been able to develop from a student just few days ago to somebody who has been leading our energy initiative, not just in Nigeria, but across Africa. And hopefully we are going global. So I'll be sharing my presentation. Give me a minute. Can you see my screen?
Yep. But right now yes. Okay, the presentation is here.
Awesome. So once again, thank you so much, Alina, for inviting me to speak today. So I was given a topic from students to energy leaders, skills young engineers need for global impact. Like Alina rightly mentioned, my name is Promise Nwogu. I'm the founder and the outgoing president of African Youth in Energy Network. So a little bit about myself. I grew up in an energy poor community, which I believe most African youths have experienced. So I experienced my mom having to cook every day because there is no power to power our freezers. I experienced reading with candle lights. I experienced not being able to charge my phones or charge my laptops whenever I needed them. That's a bit about my background. And like I said, I believe every African youth have experienced energy poverty in one way or the other. And also, I studied petroleum engineering, but funny enough, my career has been in the renewable energy sector. For over 5 years, I've been working with various companies, from solar home systems to mini-grid developers, helping to raise funds, helping in project management and project development. And also, I'm an independent consultant, so I consult for whether it's development partners, for impact assessments, or startup companies, mostly in the energy sector, right, to help them raise funding, whether it's grant funding, debt, or even equity. I've been fortunate to be able to raise over $4 million, mostly in grant funding for energy access. This fund has been able to impact over 21 African countries. Like I also mentioned, I'm the founder of African Youth in Energy Network. Through my career, I've been able to work, not just in Nigeria, but I've worked across physically, I've worked across 4 different African countries. You have Nigeria, Ghana, Namibia, and Uganda. And I've been also opportunity to speak in both local energy conferences and also international energy conferences. So you can see my journey from growing up in an energy poor community. So because of the background I have, I decided, okay, I want to be part of this transition. I want to be part of electrifying communities like mine, right? So I decided to study petroleum engineering. But then while studying petroleum engineering, I was opportune to attend a solar conference, right? So during that solar conference, I saw that renewable energy is the best form of energy to electrify most off-grid and rural communities. So that's how I was able to join the solar industry, because then I know my community is totally off-grid, we are rural, so I wanted to contribute to that. So from that conference, I joined the sector. So from joining the sector, I started AYEN and all of that. I'll be sharing more on why I started AYEN and what we have achieved so far. So why did I started African Youth in Energy Network? So like I said, I studied petroleum engineering, but during my undergraduate studies, I found I came across this problem, right? Then people who are passionate about energy access, who are passionate about solar, was a bit, from my interaction with them, they were a bit confused. How do we make connections? How do we network? How do we get into this new sector, right? Back then in my university, the only energy club we have is Society of Petroleum Engineers. And back then, Society of Petroleum Engineers, they were solely focused on petroleum side of energy, right? Oil and gas and all of that, right? And then you have renewable, that there is no club in the university that is taking care of that. So when I saw that problem, I know I wanted to understand the full value chain, not just petroleum. I also wanted to understand solar, batteries, and all of those components. So I came up with a students energy chapter in my undergraduate. So after graduating from university, right, I still have that zeal. I still see that missing link, right, between students and the whole energy system. When I mean the whole energy system, that's renewables and also oil and gas. So because I'm no longer a student, it was not possible for me to continue with student energy chapter in my school. So I had to form African Youth in Energy Network. Like the name sounds, African Youth in Energy Network, that means we are not just restricted to renewables, neither are we restricted to fossil fuel, right? Oil and gas. Because as an individual, I believe that for Africa, we need both energy sources. We need our oil and gas, we also need our renewables. And remember, I said there was no association, there was no youth club that kind of incorporates these two sides of the energy, renewables and oil and gas. So one key thing you should take away from this story of why I started African Youth in Energy Network is that I saw the opportunity. I didn't wait for someone else to build it, right? I saw the challenge, I saw the problem. So why can't I build it? I started off by building it. So one thing in my career that nobody has told me, there are some skills that you don't necessarily learn in the classroom, right? So your engineering degree actually gets you into some of these rooms, but your leadership skills determine whether you stay there, whether you progress in those rooms or not. So I listed about 5 skills, which I believe are key for any young person that wants to not just build a career, but build an exceptional career, right? Technical competence, you need to know your field. For me, I do fundraising. Like I said, my track record can be able to talk more on that and what I've achieved. I've raised over $4 million. So you need to know your field. Any field you decide to go on, you need to be very good in it. And then communication. Communication is very key. Notwithstanding your technical capability, if you don't know how to communicate your ideas, explain your solutions to people, trust me, there is to understand you before they can help you or before they can even fund your ideas, right? And then leadership. One thing I've experienced in my career is that most young people, not just young people, right? Most people lack that vision of leading, right? They lack that motivation or let's say skill of seeing a problem and solving it, right? Most of it. this is a problem, somebody should solve it. But who is that somebody, right? So if you're somebody that can take that initiative to be a leader, see a problem, try to solve it, try to make an impact in it, right? Even if it's try to make in solving that problem. You don't necessarily need to have the solution all figured out, right? But have that zeal of taking initiative, right? And back to my story of founding African Youth in Energy Network. I didn't have it all figured out. Even now, we don't have it all figured out. But we've done a little to make sure that we solve that problem that we solve, right? And then another skill that is very key for young people is networking. Okay, so after founding African Youth in Energy Network, the first fund we raised, right, was because of networking, right? So there is this person I was opportune to come in contact with during one of my volunteer opportunities, right? So when we started African Youth in Energy Network, she works with a US organization called Switch Energy Alliance. So when we started the organization, I was thinking, okay, how do we raise funds to do a project and all of that? That's when she came to my mind. I'm like, okay, let me reach out to her. So I reached out to her, and funny enough, she was in love with the idea that we came up with, and then they decided to fund us. That was our first funding, and from there we were able to get more funding and all of that. And then lastly, problem solving. That also boils down to leadership as well. You don't just see a problem and say it out loud, this is a problem. If you really believe it's a problem, try to solve it, right? So the skills universities hardly teach. On the left-hand side, mathematics, design, research, and all of that. But the skills that moves your career forward are beyond what your university teach you, right? So you have your what's real world actually requires. Public speaking, being able to present your ideas, present your right? If you want to go far, you need to negotiate, whether it's salary, whether it's proposal, or you're even selling your solution in terms of pricing. You need to have the ability to negotiate. Let that person see a value in what you're selling and why you have that price point, right? And then for someone like me, writing is a good skill to have. Social media is something that is actually building careers. It's something that is helping people to progress in their career. So beyond your technical knowledge, you need to also know how to write well, communicate well, so that people understand what you're doing. And then another third skill that you need is teamwork and managing conflicts. It's hard for you to individually go far, right, as a person. No matter what you're doing in life, 99 out of 100 times, right, you have team that you need to work with. South African Youth in Energy Network, we have a team of people I work with. And one of the key skills that you need to have is teamwork. You need to be able to work with everybody and anybody. And while working with team, trust me, there will be times where you will have different ideas, different opinions, and then conflict will definitely arise. You also need to know how to manage those conflicts so that it doesn't escalate more or cause bigger issues for yourself and also for the organization. And lastly, you have a project and strategy. Coming up with a solution, right, is a project. So you need to know how do you take this project from idea in your head to something that the world will see, to something that will impact the world. So you need to know how to do project management. And like I said, your communication is a superpower. You need to explain your solution in such a way that a layman will understand. So this is a practical advice from how was I able to build my career from, like I said, a few days ago, I was just a student, and then here we are. I've spoken in many international events, I've raised funding, I've traveled to different countries and all of that. So you need to build credibility. People need to be able to trust you, right? Say, okay, You see Promise Nwogu, I trust Promise to do this. I know Promise can do this. So how do you build that credibility? For me, right, I volunteered there with so many organizations, from SPE to other different NGOs and organizations. So like I mentioned, the whole solar energy concept came from a solar conference. And how was I able to attend that solar conference? So I saw their adverts online. I reached out to them that I wanted to volunteer for the conference. Back then, the conference was about, I think it was about $1,000. As a student, there was no way I could afford that, right? But I said, okay, I wanted to volunteer because I know the value I'm getting, right? So they allowed me to volunteer. I had access to different CEOs on that conference. So building your credibility, volunteering is one of the ways you can build your credibility. And then how do you go global? Apply for scholarship, apply for fellowship, conferences, exchange programs, and also know how to code email people, right? I've gotten so many opportunities just by messaging strangers who don't really know me personally, right? Message them. What's the worst thing that can happen? They will say no, or worstly, maybe they will ignore you, right? Which is so much better than just ignoring yourself, than just self-rejecting yourself that, this person will not respond to my message, or this person will not agree to this. So apply before you think you're ready. I applied to so many opportunities, even those I feel like, I'm not really ready for this. But so long as I meet about 30 to 40% of the criteria, trust me, I'm applying for that particular opportunity. And then another is partner widely. So I've been opportune to partner with different organizations, right? Ranging from government agency to NGOs to communities and all of that. And that also brings me to what I said previously about teamwork. It's very hard for you to go far if you're going alone. So you need to know how to build partnership, government, private sectors, and all of that. And if you're able to put these three stuff together, trust me, you really go global, right? You really reach the peak of your career. And don't wait to lead, start now. So these are some of the pictures we have from the projects we've done. I think this was our movie screening tour. We screened across 6 universities in Nigeria, and then we screened across universities in Ghana, Namibia, and Uganda. So you can see some of the lovely pictures. So this is a roadmap. I believe that if you want to build a credible career and if you want to go global in your career, this is a roadmap I believe you can follow. Right? Like I said, learn, be very good in what you're doing. And for you to be very good, you need to learn it. Right? Volunteer for opportunities. Being a volunteer allows you to network with people who maybe ordinarily you won't even have access to them. So any opportunity that you see and you feel like this aligns with what I want, this aligns with my career goals, please feel free to volunteer and build your LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a platform I feel like that it has helped me a lot. And from stories I also do read online, it has helped so many young people. Right? With LinkedIn, you have access to CEO of various companies, right? And trust me, if you want to visit them physically, you need to fill so many forms. But with LinkedIn, they are just a message away. Whether they respond or not is not really the point here, but at least you have access to them. In your year 2, I believe you should, after learning, volunteering, and building your presence, in your year 2, I believe you should start building projects. There is this saying that the best way to learn stuff is to do it, right? So start leading projects, start bringing those ideas to life, start publishing publicly. Don't just keep your ideas in your journal, or don't just keep your writings in your journals and your journals. Publish them for the world to see. It doesn't need to be perfect, right? So once you publish them, you can possibly get corrections. Oh, you can do it this way or that way. By that, you're building your presence and you're also learning, practical learning. And then by year 3, I think you should specialize. You should know, okay, this is what I want to do. Let me focus on this, right? And also expand your partnership, partner with people. Don't just be in your own shell. Say, okay, I'm enough. I can do all of this by myself. Yes, it's possible you can, but how long will it take you to achieve what you want to achieve and where you want to go? So open up, partner with people, speak with people who you believe can help you or who you believe your vision aligns with what they are doing. Then mentor young people. One thing about mentorship is that people believe or people feel like mentorship is just a one-way thing. I disagree. I believe mentorship also teaches you. Sometimes when your mentee asks you a question, you get to see it in a different way. You get to learn from that particular question. In as much as you're also mentoring your mentee on it, right? You're also learning. So just to summarize, learn, volunteer, lead projects, specialize in areas you want to go, then mentor other young people. So I believe the future of energy will be built by engineers who can lead people, who can communicate ideas, build partnership, and create solutions. If you read the quote again, I didn't just say I believe the future of energy will be built by people who know their stuff, right? Because then building a future, going global is beyond you knowing what you study. It's beyond you having that technical competence. It's beyond you knowing the solution to it. You need to be able to lead people because then you will definitely work in a team. You need to be able to communicate your ideas. Ideas in your head is as good as not being funded, right? You need to communicate it to the world, to your investors, to your partners, to your teammates, and you need to build partnership. I keep mentioning on this partnership. It's really hard for you to go far in life if you don't have partners, right? If you want to go far, go with people. If you want to go organizations with companies that their vision aligns with what you're building. Thank you so much. I'm happy to answer any question. And please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Thank you so much, Alina. Over to you.
Thank you so much, dear Promise. Really, the presentation was not good. Personally, I by myself take some tips because sometimes, you know, we all are scared, for example, to write to people or to take some opportunities. And this was a bunch of motivation, even for myself to start my career myself. Really, thank you so much. It was, I guess we all need to listen it once again because, you know, our brain is participants. This is an advice to you. Listen the recording once again carefully because next time when you will listen, open one more door for you. And dear participants, right now we have a time to have a Q&A. You have an opportunity to ask some questions. You can raise your hand or you can ask them in chat, however it will be comfortable for you. And while you're writing, Promise, I have some questions instead of our participants while they are writing. So my question will be, for example, super practical. I'm usually concentrating on this practical question. For example, I'm a student, let's say last years of my studying an engineer. I just entered to this webinar, but I'm really motivated. I have motivation, I have ideas, I have energy, but I absolutely don't know what to do. Which first 3 steps would you suggest to me? For example, I don't know, but it should be practical. For example, you will tell me, connect to me in LinkedIn or go to this SPE event, something like this, like some practical advices which you can give to the beginner so that I will be able to do first steps in my future career. Like right now, let's think mostly about Africa, but maybe you also talked with your colleagues from another countries because our event is international. So yeah, that's the question.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alina, for that. So just to make sure I understand your question, you said, okay, if you're starting up your career, how do you start? That's the question, right?
Yes, like even not a career, let's say in general, my path in energy, for example, I want to attend some events. I have some ideas. I have some ideas of projects which I'm sure can be valuable for people also in Africa. How should I start? Which steps should I do? How can I find people who also will be interested? Maybe you will suggest me to write a post or something like this. Like from your perspective, 3 steps which I can do next week to start.
Okay. So my advice would be 2 different approach for 2 different type of persons, right? If you're building a solution that's like a startup where you're not really starting your career, my advice would be this. Look at your network. I believe everybody has a network, no matter how small or how irrelevant you feel like that network is, right? But look at your immediate network. Talk to them. You will be very surprised that you feel like, this person can't really help. But when you speak to that person about your solution you have, they can say, oh, I can't help, but I have a friend who is into this, right? Who can actually help you. So they can connect you to that. So practical advice, step 1, speak within your immediate network, right? You don't necessarily need to start looking outside yet. Speak to them. Let everybody around you know what you're doing. As I am promised, Nwogu, everybody around me knows that I'm into energy. It's very clear, right? If you've spoken to me for 5 minutes, I'm sure I would have mentioned, okay, I'm doing energy stuff and all of that. So speak within your network, step 1. Step 2, apply to opportunities. Check online. There are so many opportunities. Even if you don't meet 100% of the criteria, try and apply, right? Because sometimes even if you don't get into that, I've applied to an opportunity where I didn't get into it, but then they sent me a list of other opportunities I can apply for, right? So apply to opportunities. And thirdly, it's hard to build something from scratch, right? So when we started African Youth in Energy Network, one of the things that we did is we partnered with an established organization. So you need to start thinking, okay, this solution that I have, how does it align with an organization who is doing something similar? Not really competing, but how can we partner with this organization? So you need to look within that industry, an organization that is doing something, that your solution can be an addition to what they are doing, right? And really have a clear value proposition to it, right? The questions are kind of distracting. So third step, look at established organizations already that you can easily partner with, even if it's a small pilot that you do with them. Trust me, it's a great step for you to build on that. Then another approach I will have, if it's somebody that is starting his or her career, right? That one, you're not building a startup or building a school, you're just starting your career in the energy sector. First thing I would say is volunteer for opportunities, right? Even for paid, there are so many paid opportunities that as a student or as a young person, you cannot really afford them, right? So one step which I've actually implemented for you to get into those conferences and paid events, right, is to volunteer. And sometimes they may not really have a call for volunteer, but you can reach out to them. It shows that your leadership, it shows initiative. Reach out to them. Oh, I'm a student in this, I have interest in this. I would love to volunteer for this particular event. Yes, they can say no, but sometimes, right, they can say yes, and then you can build your career from there. So volunteer for opportunities, network with people, not just people up there, but also people, students like you, young professionals, because sometimes they can share opportunities. There are definitely some opportunities they will come across and you don't know they can. But because you are within their network and they know that this is what you're doing, they can easily share that opportunity for you to also apply as well. So that would be my advice for 2 different sets of people. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And the second part of my question, there are some questions from our participants, but I guess this question, which I'm going to tell right now, also in their mind, where they can find the opportunities. For example, for Africans, how I can find these opportunities. Also, I'm a beginner. I'm not a member of SP. I don't know anything. I just entered to here because I somehow saw this RTsim promotion because we did a big promotional campaign. But for example, lots of conferences, I guess you also know, we're not spending much budget on the marketing. Sometimes people need by themselves to find these opportunities. And here also, as you are super yeah, like this. Also practical steps, like should I Google directly opportunities for youth in energy, or maybe in African Youth in Energy Network page, where is every week there is a post with opportunities for students, something like this.
Okay, so on how you can find opportunities, there are certain websites which share opportunities regularly, right? So depending in the sector, you are in the energy sector, I know of these websites called Opportunities for Africa. I'm not promoting